Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Barry, That Goat Metal Show, with an interesting segment we're doing today with Rich, the silent producer, and Tone Joker NYC. All right, we're getting something going that we've been discussing to do for quite a while right now. We're going to try to do this in two parts, where we're doing our picks of albums that we enjoyed from the decade of the 1980s, and then we're going to do a second one for the 1990s. All right. And also, while we have these guys here and we're going to try to get this thing going, we're going to make a nice little quick announcement. We just officially indoctrinated Tone Joker into That Goat Metal Show family. He is an official member of That Goat Metal Show. So now there's a trio of crazies in this channel. So I want to thank Tone for joining and being a part of everything. I mean, you know, he's a part of the community anyway. Maybe, you know, with no, just his face alone is awesome. All right, so we'll get things started, man. Basically, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through like a little round table. Start off with Tone and Rich, and I'll go last. Basically, we're gonna pick an album from each year, from 1980 to 1989, and we'll just, you know, that'll be, you know, whether it be their consideration of the best album for that year, or it could just mean something, whichever way, because I know some of my picks are not going to be resonating with a lot of people, and I'm sure the same thing with these guys. So we'll start it off. All right, Tone, we'll start off with you. Let's hear what we got for 1980.
All right, for 1980. Now, what I picked, I don't consider it to be the best album of that year. It's just an album that I love listening to. It's one of my all-time favorites to listen to. That happens to be from 1980, and that's Motorhead's Ace of Spades.
Nice.
Yeah, yes. That was that punkish speed metal sound to it. Just is no other bands can duplicate what Motorhead was. And I feel sad now that me, Rich used to go, and you used to go see concerts that Motorhead was always like the second to last band. Yeah, I regret sometimes just walking away, like I saw them and stuff, because now that they're all dead.
Yeah, yeah, that sucks, man. I wish you know, I could have had a chance to see Motorhead live, but unfortunately I didn't have that opportunity. But you know, if you guys did, man, you know, hey, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think we saw them like about 5-6 times.
Damn.
Without us actually going to see the opening up. They were Megadeth. We seen them with. We saw them with Slayer and some other bands I can't think at this moment. But that's my Motorhead.
Yep, Ace of Spades is a great album. And I remember one of the big shows that we saw them at was in 1993 when they were actually the headliners, but the undercard were all hardcore bands. And it was like Leeway and Marauder and one other band. I still have the flyer for that show.
I think was Cro-Mags on that show, Rich?
I don't remember. I got to look back. But what I remember is standing in the middle and looking and seeing Lemmy with his elevated microphone. And that was one of the most loudest concerts that I've ever been to. Motorhead was known for really cranking up the volume on their live show.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
a high decibel level. Yep.
Yeah.
So I'll shift on and I'll give you my pick for 1980. I don't have the album physically here because I have it on cassette and it's in storage. But the album that I picked was Iron Maiden's debut, which is Iron Maiden. I like other Iron Maiden albums a little better than that first one. But for some reason, the first vocalist was there. It was kind of rawish before the production was a little better. And I felt that Iron Maiden was one of the main new wave of British heavy metal bands that really got me into the scene. So I picked Iron Maiden for 1980.
And don't forget that Bruce Dickinson was not the vocalist for the first album. For the first two.
Yeah.
And to me, I felt that there was more of a punk sound to the first two albums than when Bruce Dickinson winded up joining for the third. Yeah.
Yeah, they were. It did have more of a raw punkish sound. I mean, because I mean at that time, I think when Maiden came out, it was still in that explosion of punk. You know, you had a lot of the punk coming out in Britain and stuff like that. So I guess it was kind of they were kind of teetering off that a little bit, and maybe that's where they started maybe getting some of the crowds from the punk scene and started, you know, and eventually Maiden became Maiden.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was good stuff.
All right, so I guess we'll get to me again. I don't have a physical copy of this album, but my 1980 pick would be Black Sabbath's "Heaven and Hell." Now, I say that because again, yeah, me and Tone had a discussion about this before, where we were saying, well, look, in 1980, I can't even say I was listening to metal in 1980. I mean, you know, we were young. I was probably listening to everything in their mother, but I can't pinpoint certain things. But as I got older, and then you start reflecting on certain albums and stuff like that, and then you say, okay, well, 1980, and you look, it was Black Sabbath's "Heaven and Hell," you know, and to me, I'm one of the minorities, but I just felt that, and it's blasphemous to say the most Black Sabbath people, I felt Dio was a better singer than Ozzy, of course, and I felt like that their album sounded better with Dio. It was just that's my feelings. No disrespect to Ozzy. Ozzy is, you know, is Ozzy. You know, I loved Ozzy's singles, and the old Black Sabbaths were always great. But I just felt like Ronnie James Dio gave them that push with their music. Yeah, you know, it's just his voice too. You know, it just everything resonated. You know, but that was my pick, man. 1980 was "Heaven and Hell" from Black Sabbath.
Can I add something to that real quick? I agree with you on this point. With Ozzy, it sounded more like Doom, that Doom sound, raw metal that they came up with. With what you call with Dio, it was like epic.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a whole like on there on stage. He made the band look like, you know, big giant girls. That's the difference between them. If you like that real epic, like medieval thing, Dio was the singer, and for that doom grindy sound, Ozzy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but both were great. Both were
Great. Again, that, you know, it was, but it's just if you had a, you know, if there was a preference for me, saying like, you know, because there's always the debate about the singers and their, you know, in those areas, you know, Ozzy has his loyalists, Dio has their loyalists, even, you know, a little later on, whoever else came in. But I just felt like Dio, you know, I guess gave them that push of more because you know Black Sabbath already had a name, but I think he just pushed them up a little more. That's all.
Yeah. And real quick, for the 1980, for mentions that we didn't say that people might think of, Judas Priest, British Steel.
Yeah, British Steel was on my, was one of them on my list too.
Yeah, Ozzy Osbourne himself with Blizzard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
And what I consider to be the greatest AC/DC album, AC/DC Back in Black.
Yes, that was that. Yeah. The ones you just mentioned were all like in my little thing, but then like I said, it had to be something that was resonating to me to say, okay, you know, I enjoy those albums. All those albums are great albums to enjoy, but you know, that's the one that gravitated to me more was the Heaven and Hell.
Yeah, those are all good picks.
Let's shift over to 1981.
Yep.
All right, Tone, what do you got for 81?
All right, for 81, I went with I went with Iron Maiden, Killer.
It's a good pick.
Yeah, I felt that the Killer better than their debut album.
Yeah.
And raw, I just love the punkish sounds of that album. It's just, you know, it's a totally different style compared to when Bruce Dickinson came on to join them later on.
Yeah.
So like the Black Sabbath that we talked about with the original vocalist, it was much more punkish. With Bruce, it was more epic.
Yeah, that's where you got your original straight metal sound. You know, when Bruce gave it that's to me they call that, you know, the new wave of British heavy metal. But I think when Bruce came in, it just gave you that. Yeah, this is metal. Like, you know. Yeah, absolutely. That's a great pick, Tone. What you got, Rich?
So for 1981, once again, I don't have the album with me, but I picked Black Sabbath, The Mob Rules. And the reason why I picked that album is because, like you guys were mentioning, some people lean more towards the Ozzy side, some like the Dio side. Personally, my opinion, I like 70s Black Sabbath more than anything. That area from 70 to 79 with Ozzy, that's my favorite time. But when Dio came in and he added his vocals, it elevated the band in the 80s when they were going through a period where they weren't as popular as how they were. And those two albums stood out. Also, I want to mention that Tony Iommi did a spectacular job on his guitar playing on that album, and the production's really good. So for 1981, I picked The Mob Rules.
Excellent.
Good pick. Good pick.
I really like that album too.
Yeah, it is. It's a fucking really good album, man. I mean, it was kind of hard for me. Like, again, we went through our thing looking at stuff, but again, gotta stick to what resonated to me. And for 1981, for me, I don't have a physical copy, which I'm in the process of digging for because I really want to get it on vinyl. Is Venom's "Welcome to Hell," and that is, you know, that resonate that album is, it's, you know, pretty much the stamp to what we're considering black metal, because, you know, Venom was one of the first to really get it going. But Welcome to Hell at that time, I mean, if you think about the releases that were out in 81, now if you look at everything, like, you know, Black Sabbath, so on, Venom was the one that was the most outlandish.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was the one that was the most outlandish, the band that was like taking things to that fucking level that, you know, even though I think you had Merciful Fate already coming up around that time doing that thing, but Venom was Venom, man. I mean, everybody who's seen any Venom shows from back in the days, and, you know, the stuff that they used to do was just so that was beyond. And I think that's what drew everybody to Venom, was the fact that they were so fucking outlandish and they threw it all in your face and they didn't give a fuck. But yeah, that was that. You know, again, I wasn't listening to Venom per se in 1981, but for this point of, you know, what the year means to me, and from listening to the albums, it's definitely Venom. Welcome to Hell.
Right. Do you want to hit us with any honorable mentions before we go to 82?
Well, the only one I have here that the thing is Ozzy Osbourne's "A Diary of a Madman."
Yeah. You know, what's funny? That you say that. I was actually a little torn between both those, because I felt that Ozzy album was one that pretty much that one threw him out there a little more. That one, I think, got his popularity really, really up there.
And it was much darker.
Huh?
It was much darker than Blizzard of Oz.
Yeah, and it was, you know, he had a lot of great hits on that album, and his name was resonating in you know, with metal and everything with that album. But, you know, I enjoyed that album as well, but I think Venom was just something that really called to me for that year. So that's my 1981, and, you know, that's the Ozzy one would have been good too.
So
1982.
82, Tone.
1982. Well, that one I got a physical, and I'm going back to Iron Maiden again.
Yep.
Number of the Beast, the first record with Bruce Dickinson. When this came out, this just blew me away because it just changed the whole style of what the band was in the beginning, and you know, a lot of people say it's overrated now, but I don't think so. I still think is a masterpiece in their collection.
It is. Yeah. And that's pretty much was the introduction of Bruce and what we were going to expect from Bruce for many years to come. I won't even, you know, look, we're basically, I don't know what you're going to have, Rich. That was my pick for 1982. So I'll just, you know, we'll even just go to say that album is, I think, it's an essential to anybody who's starting to listen to metal. And then who didn't want, as a kid, when you heard the Number of the Beast, you know, that whole thing of, oh shit, they're talking about Satan? Yo, I want to go and check that song out. And it just drew people to it, even though the song is not, it's just the story. And, you know, trying to make them out to be satanic and all. But the fact that they were one of the bands part of that Satanic Panic too, which was also fucking awesome, because, you know, they're not a satanic band at all.
Nope, they're not.
Yeah, man. I mean, yo, it's made that is you know, the cover, of course, you know, if you wore that fucking cover out anywhere, everybody would just, you know, like the moms and the grandmas go crazy, throwing holy water at you, all that cool shit, you know.
But real quick, you guys remember? I think Rich definitely remembers, but I don't know if you ever went down there, Bear. There used to be a place down on roughly, me and my friend D were talking about, roughly around 40th and 8th used to be a store that used to sell those suede posters.
Oh yeah, well, I know what you're talking about. I there was a record store in the Bronx that I used to go to that sold those posters. I bought a couple of. I bought a Killers poster, and it was Killers, and I forgot, and I think because I bought it, it was suede. I remember the suede cover. Those
and golden.
Those were badass.
I had the Number of the Beast one.
Yeah, I had Killers. I bought Killers. I remember buying Killers.
One thing about those posters too was that some of them that when you turn off the light, some of them would glow. Like they had a little dark thing on some of the parts of the face and stuff.
Yeah, and I remember, damn, how much those? I mean, they were. I mean, compared to what they would probably charge for stuff like that now. Back then, I think what a regular back then was like $2, $6. Yeah, and so like $5 or $6. Yeah. You just spend a little more because of the fucking material and stuff like that on it.
I remember spending $8 for them.
Yeah, it was somewhere between like $5 and $8, something like that.
And they had I had the Bruce Lee one too. That was nice.
Yeah, because if we remember back in the 70s, you had a lot of those posters being made where you had the blaxploitation films, the girls with the fros, and it was awesome, man. I mean, you went into those stores, you saw nothing but those posters there. But the Killers one was that was the one I remember picking up.
Yeah, I miss those days with the big fros.
And what? And then so the artwork was something too. Like as a kid, you know, like you pick up that Iron Maiden, you probably didn't know too much about the music, but the logo was iconic. But the artwork is what drew you in. That you took chances, and Maiden was one of those bands that most of throughout the whole 80s, all of their artworks were great and stuff. But moving on to 1982. That's the year that I feel that I started really getting deeper into metal and experimenting and different sounds. So the next band, like I said, like Tone said, it's not the greatest album. Not I feel like they're great, but I feel like it was a starting point, and I picked Venom's Black Metal.
There you go. And the same thing too, you know, I mean, I had Welcome to Hell. But that album is actually the more staple point of everything because of the fact that the album Black Metal, and that's when everything just started spiraling from there. But that's a fantastic album.
The song, the iconic song itself, and then watching them on VHS tapes, it's like it got you more into like, yo, what's going on here? What's going on out there? You know, and you start digging, and like I said, they weren't the best technically, but it's just like, as a young kid, it was a good starting point. And I feel that album for me stands out for 82. We all did 82, right?
Because I agreed with Tone with the Number of the Beast. That would have been my pick as well. Again, you know, that was the album that to me is like it's a gateway to anybody who probably wanted to just dive right into metal. Was Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast. I mean, it's iconic. You know, you got a lot of great songs on it. Yeah, and that was Bruce Dickinson. That introduction of Bruce was, you know, that was it. You know, became a legend. But that's my night. Yeah, 1982. I agree with Tone. So
all right, 2 quick honorable mentions for that year: Motorhead's TheWitchingHour and Sodom Witching Metal.
Yeah.
Yep.
With
great albums.
Two great band things.
The beginning of black metal, you know, like black metal. Yeah. All right. So who's next? Tone, right?
So you got 1983. Tone.
1983. We're going with. Okay, I have this one. Second. This is from me, the beginning when thrash started.
Nice.
Good.
Yep.
That's right, Metallica.
Yep. This when this came out, this changed everything for the scene at the time. You know, even though Dave Mustaine don't get the credit he deserves.
Yeah, he wrote the almost the whole damn album.
The whole album. But this was the beginning of all those other great bands that followed after this. And everybody was wearing the backpacks of Kill 'Em All, remember?
Yep.
And this stuff was what started the underground at that time too, here in America and stuff. But that's my pick.
Nice.
Good pick, man. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's that. You know, there was so many. I mean, I think 1983 probably had a lot of great fucking albums, but yeah, that one right there is it's the staple of, you know, when people think of thrash and its roots. You can see, yeah, that's definitely it, man. Most definitely.
All right. Am I next or is Barry next?
No, you next.
You were Rich.
Yeah, sorry, we're running the circle. So with 1983, I don't physically have it here because I also have it on cassette. It was a little hard because there were a lot of good albums, but I went with Slayer's "Show No Mercy." And the reason why I picked that particular album was, like Tone said, it was one of the beginning thrash albums that really put the band out. But also, there's little hints of like early speed and black metal in there, and the imagery. So I feel like that band, a lot of people, I mean, Slayer is legendary. They picked a lot of different elements of that band, whether it was speed, black, or thrash, and they put LA on the map. Kerry King's vocals, the high pitch, the lightning speed guitar playing. It's an album that I could listen to and not get tired. And a lot of people like the first couple of Slayer albums, or some of them lean towards like the later part, and I prefer the early stuff. So for 1983, I picked Slayer's "Show No Mercy."
Yeah, the early stuff from Slayer was it was practically a border between thrash and black metal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the early stuff was way better than what they went on to do later on and stuff. I agree with that pick.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
What do you got for 83?
Well, mine's is a little bit, you know, I go with what resonated with me for what was out at that time. I mean, Slayer, Metallica was something that pretty much was my gateway when I started getting into metal. But this band here, you know, which I'm another one I'm trying to find on vinyl. I don't have a physical copy, so I want it on vinyl. Is freaking Quiet Riot's Metal Health. Metal Health. I mean, it's like that was you know, the you know, that I don't even that whole album is fucking fab. It's a great fucking album. It's, you know, it's got your rock and metal the way it's supposed to be, and it's, you know, it punches you in the face, and you know, you got great anthems in that fucking album. And the video, who remembers the music videos? The music videos were fabulous, man. They were great videos. I mean, they were just always showmen doing their thing, and you know, that was an album that I enjoyed. I really enjoyed it, and you know, I only had a copy. I had like a tape. I never got an original, which I regret. So I've been searching. I mean, I've said stories about how, you know, I do my due diligence looking for fucking the album, and I get suckered where I thought I had it, and somebody outbids me. I'm so fucking pissed. But yeah, because I mean, that album, you know, if you try to get it, it's gonna be a nice little chunk of change, even if, you know, if you don't find out maybe a re-release or something like that, and you try to get an original pressing, they're trying to charge you $50, $60, $70, $80 for an original pressing. So you know, I'm doing what I can, man. But yeah, Metal Health, it was, you know, for me, 1983.
I think it was one of the greatest covers. The straight jacket and that steel.
Yeah.
It remind me of Demons.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's funny because you mentioned about the Metallica Kill 'Em All people, but that Quiet Riot, a lot of people had those patches too. The guy with the mask and the thing, a lot of people wore those patches back with the vest. And yeah, man, so you know, that was my pick, man. You know, Quiet Riot, Metal Health.
But all right, real a quick honorable mention was Dio's Holy Diver came out.
Yes.
Then you had another Iron Maiden classic was Peace of Mind, and one of my personal that I almost picked, except Balls to the Wall.
There you go. Yeah. Those are all classics, man. All of them.
Classic metal.
Yeah, I mean, again, we could probably do a thing where we could have just did a whole year and probably fill up a segment. But yeah. So we're just doing like our ones that's why I said I think I'm just gonna go with whatever resonated to me for that year. Not to say none of those albums are not great, but it just feel, it just something that hits you. Like say, for 1983, yeah, this was the one that gravitated to me. But yeah, man, nice. Right. Yeah, nice, man. Nice honorables there, Tone. All right, we'll go to 1984.
1984, I'm going with what I consider to be the best album from Metallica, Ride the Lightning.
Yeah, that was my pick right there, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
But this album, this is where I think everything came together, and songwriting, music, the singing, everything for this album. This is what I consider when I wish this band would just come and just do this as what you call as a show. It'll be great. It'll be worth the money, but we know that's not gonna happen.
Not with Lars still there.
Yeah, Lars still there. So that's my pick.
Definitely.
All right.
Cool. So with 1984. I was kind of a little bit split because there were so many great ones. That I feel that 84 on is when every year in metal really started getting packed with great albums. And so I was torn. So I have the shirt on. I almost was gonna pick this album, which was Merciful Fate, the Oath, but I changed my mind last minute. And the reason why is because I like Barry said, I gotta go with the albums that I'm listening to the most. And so for 84, I feel that one that really put out the Scandinavian sound of black metal and really pushed it out there so that the second wave picked up on and got inspired was this one. And that is Battery.
Good choice.
Mm-hmm. I just feel that it's a standout. It's a short album, but it's a standout album for 1984.
Yeah, that's the one there that everybody makes the argument between who really created black metal between Battery and Venom.
Well, my opinion is Battery.
Yeah,
they created black metal. They had all the elements. I know Venom everything, but Venom only had a name, black metal. That's it. I feel that Venom more
stepped out.
Yeah, Venom more of a speed metal band.
Yeah, that was that was the thing with that. I mean, but you know what? I mean, look, Battery. I think what they did was they took that and they gave it the more of the feel to say, yeah, this is what black metal is, and whatever Venom pretty much was already establishing, and then they just enhanced it a little more. So I mean, everybody's gonna get their due diligence on the creation of a genre, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Because look, because Venom, I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, I don't think Venom, when they were doing their stuff, thought they were creating a genre. They were just doing something that they thought they were throwing out. Nobody who did these genres thought they were creating a genre. They just was playing.
Back then, it was all called metal. There wasn't like specific genres and stuff. All of this early stuff, like now I feel like it's all proto leading up to what became.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Should we shift over to 85? Everybody went?
Yeah, because I mean, my pick was pretty much the same. I went with Metallica's Ride the Lightning. I mean, I just, look, this album, what I appreciated the most was that, I mean, we heard it in Kill 'Em All, because how you guys already know how I feel about Cliff Burton. But this was where Cliff Burton was doing most of the songwriting as well. And For Whom the Bells Tolls, Call of Cthulhu, that was his genius was just flying through here, and that's why I picked Ride the Lightning.
That's very good point that nobody talks about Burton. Cliff Burton was the best, when he was doing all those other things. After his passing, where did the band go?
Yeah, they just went to the Grammys. That's where they went.
Yep. But real quick mention. We have Iron Maiden's Power Slave.
Yes. That's a great fucking album.
Yep.
Wasp debut. A few debuts happened that year. Wasp, Metal Church came out with their debut, and one of my favorite, I think is my favorite Dio album is The Last in Line.
That's a good one. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Last in Line is a fucking great album. Definitely is.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So
85.
85. Well, here I'm going with I don't have it. I thought I had it here, but I can't find it. It's Creators Endless Pain.
Nice.
Yeah, Endless Pain. That's pretty. Wait, that wasn't Creator's first album, was it? No. Okay.
No.
I thought it was.
I thought it was. So they
yeah, sorry, it is. It is.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought maybe they did an EP before that or something like that. But
yeah.
Okay.
But that album, I just love the vocals on it, the guitar riffs, and it was just something that because remember, us three, we went to where I picked up this album was from in Yonkers.
Oh, Rockin' Rex. Rockin'
It
Rex.
was released by a label called Noise Records.
Germany, right? They were German, right?
I thought
they were German.
Huh? They were with Combat?
No,
okay.
Noise Record released it. Then I think Combat released it here in America.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. It says that it was released in 1985 by Noise Records.
Okay.
Yeah. Noise Records, because I picked it up on that Yonkers store that we went to in Tuckahoe.
Yep, Tuckahoe Road, yeah, Rockin' Rex, man. And I was telling my wife about Rockin' Rex because she was getting there's a tattoo place open up right across from it, where Rockin' Rex used to be, and I was telling her the whole story about how we used to travel up there to Yonkers and cross fucking Central Avenue to get to the other side. Just to get there. Yeah, man, that was a fucking awesome little place, man. I remember getting my the one thing I picked up that was met where I picked up the promo of Deceased Luck of the Corpse. That's where I got it from. I got it from Rockin' Rex.
That's a good album. That's my favorite.
I got it from Rockin' Rex. I got the promo. It was like the white fucking J card. It says promo on it, and I just said fuck it, and that was great.
Real quick, that I got you two here. Did we go to that Rockin' Rex first before we went to Bleecker Bob's, or was it Bleecker? We were already going to Bleecker Bob's.
No, we were already going to Bleecker Bob's.
Yeah, we were already going to Bleecker Bob's. Yeah,
Bleecker Bob's was opened already from that year's. Like when we were always going to the Village.
All right, I just wanted to.
All right, I like how we used to call it Bleecker Slobs.
Yeah, Bleecker Slobs.
Shifting over to 85, it was kind of hard. I had a pick, and I changed it last minute because I also didn't want to repeat other picks that I know that are obvious for here. But I wanted to go out of left field and pick one, like I said, not the greatest album from 85, but personally an album that I keep playing and still to this day I enjoy it. And I wanted to add in something that would have been the crossover sound. So I went with Speak English or Die from SOD.
Here we go.
That's excellent choice.
Let's get that band to the border.
And for those who don't know, they're Stormtroopers of Death.
There we go.
So that yep, it's like a super band that had all these different guys in it. Some of it was comedy stuff, but the music itself, it had elements of hardcore, elements of thrash and metal, all meshed in with comedy. And I felt it was a great album for 85. Just my personal pick that, not the best album of 85, but one of my favorites.
Very good. All right. So my pick, basically, I'm going to show it to you because I said I got my phone here. I could just at least show the cover, is Possessed, Seven Churches. All right. Yes. Yeah. Some seven. I mean, look. Yeah. There we go. Possessed, Seven Churches. you know, what can you say? I mean, they're I mean, do people say Death was one of the ones that started? No, it really came from Possessed. They had the elements of death metal already in their music, and basically, you know, just like the same thing with, I'm sure they weren't playing to say, yeah, we're starting a new genre. They played it, but it had the sound, it had the feel, it was death metal. And to me, yeah, they are the true creators of death metal. And that album is you know, still fucking relevant to this day. People still go back to that album, and it's still a really good album to listen to front to back. I mean, even though if you remember, if you ever saw any of the old interviews that they had with the guys from Possessed, they were sort of in that vein of what happened with Metallica, and not that but Metallica and Megadeth. You know how they had the competition where Dave left. It wasn't like that with Possessed, but Possessed looked at Slayer as the competition because they were trying to outdo Slayer, and they've admitted that. They've admitted that that was their thing. They wanted to be faster, more aggressive, more evil. You know, because Slayer was taking the imagery and putting it out there, so they wanted to be a little. You know, they were in that little competition with Slayer, and they ended up creating something very evil and became death metal. So
Yep.
I thank Possessed for that all the time.
Yep, great.
Yeah,
that was almost gonna be my pick, but I changed it last minute. But that definitely for me was one of the albums of that year.
Yep, that was my 1985. Let's go.
All right.
So, Tone.
Quick what you call 85 albums that came out that year. The debut of Megadeth.
Killing Is My Business.
Hell Awaits.
Mm-hmm.
We had Exodus, Bonded by Blood.
Yeah,
that is a great thrash album. That to me probably one of the greatest thrash albums of all time.
Yeah, I almost picked that, and then what else is there besides that? Oh, and then what you call Halloween came out with Walls of Jericho at that time.
That's a great fucking album too. Halloween. Yeah. In fact,
power metal bands. Halloween. Yep.
Yeah, if I could give a quick shout out to my man Ed from Realms of Metal. He just put a video out yesterday where he did his best of Halloween tracks, and there was a lot of songs he put in there that was in Walls of Jericho. It's a great fucking band.
Yep.
Matter of fact, I just received a package from him today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You know that I got a notification that I got a package downstairs, and I think it's from him because I ordered from him this week. So later on, I'm gonna go downstairs and pick it up.
Cool. Yeah. All right, there you go, Ed. That Goat Metal Show supports.
Yes.
All right, yo. So Tone, what we got for 1986, Tone?
Yeah.
All right.
Six
was a little bit of a hassle. I was talking with Rich over it. I kept on fighting back and forth for who I was going to pick. But I finally settled with Slayer, Blood. And
absolutely. There we go. So you can save me that. You say it's same here. And there's nothing really much to say about that. I mean, Tone, you could just give your reasons for picking it.
Well, man, what can you say about this album? Everything that's in this album, you want. You had songs about a Nazi. Check. You had Satanic. Check. You had what you call murder. Check. You have some of the most what you call greatest riffs from King. Check. So the vocals. Check. So it's nothing. This could be the perfect album for that year. Can't go wrong with this.
And of course, the Mets won in '86, so it just made everything better.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the greatest baseball team in the history of baseball.
Yeah, man, they might as well have just fucking used Rain and Blood as their theme, man, because those guys were just beating people up. They were high. They forget it. They could have just been playing that shit with them while they were fucking fighting it.
Like I said,
that's how they won the World Series when the Dwight Gooden and Darryl Strawberry did a line and they listened to Rain and Blood. They ran out and they went, I'm talking shit.
Yeah.
No, you know what? Like Tone said, man, there's no denying it, man. I think that this is the first pick that all three of us are picking the same thing. I picked Slayer's Rain and Blood. I was really thinking about putting the other Creator album, Pleasure to Kill, because it is incredible. But
Yeah.
it's just that the Slayer album is too iconic. The artwork, the production, the riffing. I remember listening to that. Yep, thanks, Tone. In Tone's room, when he had it on cassette, and I remember, like, you remember that clearly. How mind blowing it was. So yeah, 1986. Rain and Blood is also my pick.
Nice.
Yeah, it's the killer between those two albums. Like, I played them this week every day, both of them. And one day I will say, yes, it has to be what you call Creator. The next day I'll be like, nah, the Slayer, just the way Slayer sounds. If you could say there's a tie, I would call from that for me to be a tie. But we have to choose one, so I went with Slayer.
Yeah. For me, look, it's Slayer is gonna top notch. I mean, it's the number. I mean, if we do a freaking 1 through 10, Slayer's number one in my book for 86. I mean, to me, the close second would have been, when I was picking, would have been Master of Puppets from Metallica. Because I mean that no matter what, I think the whole album, the way it was done, again, to me is a Cliff Burton masterpiece. That album, and you just can't go wrong with that. Again, that was right. Yeah, there you go. I just, Cliff, he was a big freaking influence in my life when it came to, playing music, because he was the one who got me into wanting to pick up a bass. And, it's a shame, man. Of course, we won't get into the whole conspiracy theory that we all talked about, with that, but that's for another time. But yeah, Rain and Blood, I think all of us all around, we all got to say it's when it came to it, just, it was just straight first song to last track, perfect. There's no bad songs on that album. You can listen to the whole album straight and not be disappointed.
That's what I'm saying. It's the thing. Well, honorable mentions for that year was Peace Sells, but Who's Buying?
Yep. That was fortunately, Dave, that's number 3 on my list, Dave. Sorry.
Yep. So, what you call Iron Maiden, Somewhere in Time?
Yes.
Yes, that's another one.
Also, one of my favorite album covers of all time, that Somewhere in Time with that robot of Eddie.
Yep. One of my all-time favorite Iron Maiden, Stranger in the Strange Land.
Yeah. That was up. And you guys remember my story when I told you how I discovered Maiden was because I got the poster with the Eddie and the trench coat with the hat for Stranger in the Strange Land. That was the poster I picked up, and that changed my life.
And one last mention, Nuclear Assaults, Game Over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Again, it's you could do it, like I said, and that would be a nice topic of it. That year itself was, besides the fact Mets winning the World Series, and but that had a slew of great fucking albums that was like everyone was a banger. There was no disappointments, and that was a great year, man. Fucking all around. Music, life, everything. It was great. Great fucking year.
All right, let's shift over to 87.
87. What did I put for 87 was give me a second here. Oh, 87, yes.
Someone is digging in the crates. Ask them stash. Yep. Keeper.
Oh, yes.
Yes. The Godfathers of black metal. Yep. This album, I just, listening to this album is just, from the beginning to the end, the vocals, love it. The rawness of the, what you call, the instruments in this, can't beat it. This is why I say that this band is the true black metal pioneers over Venom, because what you hear from this band, every other band in Norway, Sweden, Finland try to duplicate to make. They weren't duplicating Venom. So this is my pick for that year. And again, I'm very big on saying that this is the godfathers of black metal.
Not bad.
Yeah.
That album also defined the sound of Battery, because Battery was a band that always kept changing and elevating and going, and eventually they went into Viking sound too. But I feel like that album was the peak of when Battery was elevated at their height.
But
So
look
that
at
was
that. Look at that. Bathory could be the claim, the fact that they created two genres. They created, you can say they helped create black metal, and then create that whole Viking feel, that Viking sound, or that Viking thing that a lot, those bands are doing now. It came from that. So they created two genres. How many fucking people could say that?
Yeah. They were very.
Definitely. So for 1987, I'm a little mad because I don't have the album with me right now, and the T-shirt is somewhere around. So I'm just gonna verbally give out my pick. And I pick Death, Scream, Bloody Gore for 1987. I know Tone probably has it.
He should have it part of his honorable mentions there, man.
Yeah. That album, I picked it because, to me personally, I'm not saying that Possessed weren't the creators of death metal, but when I think of death metal, the way that it really launched off and became with the sound and with the vocals and everything,
that's fair. I can agree with
pinpoint
that.
Scream, Bloody Gore as like the central point of when it really elevated the genre. The drumming was incredible. The drumming was incredible, the riffing and everything, and the artwork is iconic. So that's my pick for 87, Scream, Bloody Gore from Death.
Yeah, that's a great analogy, Rich, because it's, I mean, again, we say, I feel like, Possessed did create it. Like, they were the ones who said that they, it was one of those things, those happy accidents. They created the sound and so on. Death probably went and they took it and they enhanced it. That it became, the Death then took that, and then every other band started pretty much, became a blueprint of what death metal was going to sound eventually, until Death eventually went more progressive and more into like doing everything more musically and stuff, which is fine. I mean, there's some good Death albums.
Yeah, it's fine. It wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah, some of them, I mean, look, for musically, as a musician, I could appreciate some of those Death albums when he went very technical. But again, I can understand why people would then just go right back to the original stuff. To me, the first three albums are the best Death albums.
Yeah.
Real and Spiritual Healing.
Yeah. And a mention, I was gonna pick this, but I went with the one I did. Was this came out?
The Ultraviolet. Yeah.
And this to me is up there with the Metallicas and the Megadeths that nobody talks about. This album's thrash in this is amazing.
Yeah, that's back when the Bay Area was pumping, man.
Yeah, and they were young kids. They were very, very young when they recorded that. Yeah.
So it's an extremely great album.
So what's your pick, Barry, for
87? I'm going with the King Diamond's Abigail.
Nice. Yeah.
I mean, I got introduced to King Diamond thanks to MTV's Headbangers Ball. And the video he did on here for, was it The Family Goes? I got hooked. And then, of course, when you go and you listen to something, you start back cataloging and you find out about, I started learning his history, Merciful Fate, and all this other stuff. But yeah, man, my man, you just can't go wrong, with King Diamond. And my man is still doing his thing. He still got his voice intact. They got a new album out, which I can't wait to get. And I was lucky enough to see him live 3 times. I got to see him. I saw him once with Fate, and I saw him twice, and on his King Diamond tour. And I
was with you at one of the shows, Barry. We saw them at L'Amour's when Entombed opened up.
Yep, that was fucking awesome. That was a fucking show.
Yeah, man, that was a good time. That was probably one of the last times I ever been to L'Amour's.
Wait, a matter of fact, come to think of it, that bill, if I remember correctly, not only Entombed, wasn't Creator opening that show too? Wasn't it
I gotta look at
Creator
the flyer.
Entombed? Yeah, I remember. I think that's what the tour was, and I think
I'll look back.
Yeah. Oh man, man. Now you're giving me chills, man. Thinking about that shit. I remember that place being packed. That was a badass show, man.
And one quick thing that Tone liked King Diamond too, and he would play it. And I know Tone liked the other albums like Conspiracy and all that. But when Tone would have a couple of drinks, he would start singing like King Diamond, saying, "Remember?"
I love those first two on them and Conspiracy was great. Quick honorable mentions for that year: The Killer of Glam, Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction.
Yeah, nobody can deny that, man. Everybody, nobody can say they didn't enjoy some of Guns N' Roses stuff from that album, man.
That album from top to bottom, I feel is something that you don't have to skip anything. It's a classic from beginning to end. Production, music wise, it's the ultimate party record. I think it defines the decade of that particular music.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you would say the reason they say it was a killer of glam was because they weren't singing about girls and drinking and stuff. There was a lot of dark themes that they were talking about. Child molesting. They was talking about governments and stuff. That was great. Another one was Sabotage. One of my favorite albums, Halls of the Mountain King.
Very epic. Yep.
Yep.
Vocal wise and music wise. Yep.
Yeah. And then what was the last one I had here was I think it was Motorhead Rock and Roll came out that year.
I gotta revisit it. Yeah, I don't remember it that well. I gotta revisit it.
Oh, this is what I was looking for. And for Barry, a Man of War, fighting the
world. Yeah. That would have probably came up on my list, but King Diamond was, it hit me a little bit harder at that. As far as the year go, I mean, I'll discuss Man of War, soon, but that was Fighting the World would have been up there, and but King Diamond was right there for me.
That's good.
All right, Tone, let's shift over to 1988.
All right, 1988. I know it's not a lot of people's favorite from Megadeth, but this is my favorite. So what you call So Far So Good, So What? This is
a great album. Hook and Mouth is one of my favorites, man.
Bro, I think that this, if you would consider this, if you was to say that this was if they ever had like a raw, like if you would say if Megadeth had a black metal album, it would be this, because this raw. It had, he was just the riffs in this, the singing, the production wasn't as good as other ones that they did. That's what gave it a raw sound and stuff. And this is one that I'm always, when I feel like listening to Megadeth, this is what I'm always grabbing. I know Rust in Peace is their epic and everybody loves Rust in Peace, but for me, this is what I love from Megadeth. I've always loved this album.
Yeah.
And
that's a great pick. Yep, yeah. I bought that as a cassette from Columbia House. Remember when they used to give you 12 albums for a penny, and then you would have to pay a lot of money for the other ones? And I took a chance and bought it, and I just played that fucking cassette like crazy back and forth. And also Anarchy in the UK is on there, which is the Sex Pistols cover song, right?
Yeah, they do a good job. And they brought
this one has it. There is copies that don't have it. For some reason he wanted out to take it, and this is the comeback. This is the original pressing. This is the comeback one that when they came out.
Yeah, because you know what? They did the reissues when they did the remasters of Peace Cells, So Far So Good What, and Rust in Peace. And I am so mad because I remember back when we were doing our cassettes to CDs. Remember when CDs were the thing, the essential thing to get, and you were doing away with cassettes? I had all my originals on cassette, and I picked up the CDs, but I ended up getting the remasters. And I can't stand the remasters, man. I can't. He fucking added. He went and he just wanted to add so much shit to it, and because I remember the cassettes, playing them, listening to them word for word, the lyrics and how the fucking songs went, and then when you hear the remasters, it's like a totally different songs, and I'm like, oh my god! And so that's another part of my I'm gonna looking for. I'm looking for original pressings of those 3 albums, either on vinyl or cassette. I'll I'm gonna go digging because I can't. I have the remasters and I hate them. I really do. I hate those things.
Good luck, because they run a good penny.
I know. So far, I've been lucky, man. Don't diss my luck, yo. I've been doing real good on eBay, man.
So Barry, you're up next with
Yep.
we're on 88.
88. All right. Okay, so of course, Tone mentioned there for 87, one of my all-time favorite bands. And this album is the one that pretty much was one of my staples from when I got right into metal, and it's the Manowar's Kings of Metal. When I went to go visit my friend Georgie, because I was there, getting into Maiden and so on and so forth. Those are the people. My friend Georgie and his sister Wanda were the people I went to get my metal, and he started playing me this album, and I, from front to back, we listened to the whole album and everything that went on with this album. Even I got to listen. It wasn't even on CD. We heard it on cassette, and his sister had the picture disc album, and that one had the bonus track, Pleasure Slave, which I as a young kid, when you hear that, you hear the women moaning. Oh, oh. I'm like, ooh, oh shit, ooh, yeah, and you hear, ha, 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 ha. And then you hear, woman, be my slave. Oh, forget it. You can't play that shit now, man. Forget it. All the woke tards will come after you, man, for even suggesting that you're singing a song about making a woman your slave. Forget it. Yeah. But the CD has the song, which I'm very happy for. And that Manowar, this is always going to hold a special place in my heart. And this album does no wrong in my book. But yeah, fucking Kings of Metal.
Nice. And also, Barry, I heard that when back in the days when you would listen to that you would take off your shirt and lather yourself in baby oil with your metal sword. Because
and the lion cloth. I had to get the lion cloth too, man. They're just jiggling all over the place. And you run around and start chopping heads off and shit. Like, I'm fighting the world, bitches.
No, I'm just busting humps, man.
Every time I used to listen to Manowar, I felt like always watching Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, man. It was that, or like Lord of the Rings, that you get all that fucking fantasy feel to
the imagery. Yep.
Yeah, that was one thing I always appreciated listening to it. You always got a feel of whatever they were singing about. It gave you a story in your head, and that was awesome.
Yep. So for 1988, I don't have the album with me. I also have it on cassette. It's in storage. It took me a while to think it over, and I wanted to go to an album that I kept on revisiting, and it kept growing with me with each listen. And so the one that I picked might not be other people's popular pick, but I picked Operation Mindcrime from Queensryche.
You know what? No, not for nothing. That was actually, if I didn't have Manowar, my Operation Mindcrime would have been there for me too. That's a fantastic fucking album, man.
Yeah, I feel like the production is great on that. The vocals were like tremendous, and what really reeled me in was that it was a concept story that unfolded with skits and everything as each track developed. It felt like a movie.
Yeah.
And it was just it's for progressive hard rock metal. I feel like it's one of the greatest albums of all time for the 80s.
It is. I feel the same way. That album, front to back, it was. How we always say about a band who has a great album in the discography. We always say it's their Reign in Blood.
That's their Reign in Blood.
That's their Reign in Blood.
Yep.
Front to back, you can sit down, and the fact too that they have songs in it that are long, but you just listen. You're engulfed in the music and in the story and what's going on. That's a great fucking album.
With skits in the middle between telling you the story.
Yep,
it was great. Too bad the sequel wasn't good.
They did a part 2, and I'm like, I didn't even understand why they even bothered.
I think it was for this money grab.
That was right before he left the band, right? The singer before he left the band, they did that. I still haven't even heard it. I don't even know.
Perfect. It's garbage.
No. Yeah, I saw them on tour performing Operation Mindcrime at the Beacon Theater, and they were teasing that they were going to do that album. And when I heard it, I mean, it was okay, but it's definitely nothing close to the original.
Yeah, because I think the last time I saw, well, I did see them play. I saw them open up for Maiden in 2000. Was it 2000? Yeah, when in Madison Square Garden. And they were, you know, they did all the, from that point, whatever they had, you know, Empire is another album I actually enjoy. I like Empire. I thought Empire was a good album. But yeah, Operation Mindcrime is a good fucking choice, Rich.
All right, so we're approaching the 1 hour mark, and that means that we're almost there to take it home. So we're gonna probably shift over to 89. And I don't know if Tom wants to hit it.
No, you still got the honorable mentions.
Honorables. Yeah, the honorable mentions. Yep.
Iron Maiden, Seven Sons of the Seven Sons,
which would have been on my list again. Same thing.
Yeah,
that's my first physical purchase, that album.
Testament, The New Order.
Yes.
What you call? I know people. I don't care, but I love this band. This band, Cinderella, Long Cold Winter.
Night, yeah, right. Long Cold Winter, right? Yeah.
And my last two, Slayers, what you call South of Heaven.
Yes.
And everybody didn't really talk about this band anymore, but I think it's one of their best. It's Suicidal Tendency. How can I laugh tomorrow when I can't smile today?
Yeah, that's a great fucking.
Yes.
That's a great album.
Yeah.
that's the album that has one of my favorite fucking videos. Yeah, they go South of Heaven right there.
South of Heaven.
That Suicidal has that song Waking the Dead, if I'm not mistaken, right? That every time, if you ever get a chance, you guys look up the video Waking the Dead. There's always a part of the song where they're filming and they get right into that fast part of the song, and you see Mike Muir trying to do his little dance and he falls, and they never edit that part out. Every time, we would crack up because you see it like literally him just falling, and they left it in the fucking frame of the video. It's hilarious, man.
Oh,
I gotta hit it back and see it.
Not to cut you guys off, but one thing we have to mention, because we look like posers to the metal community. I almost forgot. This came out that year.
Oh, Leprosy, yeah, absolutely.
Man. That was almost my pick. That was almost my pick.
Go without mentioning this.
And Leprosy was another staple of my growth. Well, Pull the Plug and watch them live on that. When they did
I think Leprosy is my favorite album. I think if I had to pick out of the first 5, I think Leprosy is probably my favorite all-around death album. That's just my favorite.
Yeah, for me, it would be. I mean, out of the 3, like I said, the first 3 are the best. But out of the 3, I was more with Spiritual Healing because of James Murphy. James Murphy was on that, so I appreciate it because James Murphy. You already knew James Murphy had a style, and it blended so well with that album. That's why I love that album to death.
Yeah, I love that album.
Nice. All right. So this is it. We're taking it home. 89, the last year.
Wait, what the half of the night? Oh, yes. Which one I picked here was, you got right here. This is it.
89 was 89 was
gun to your head, oh yeah, Pestilence
Consuming Impulse, the greatest death metal vocalist of all time, Martin. I don't give a shit what I've had people tell me too that he is the best. More than Red.
Yeah, a lot of death metal vocalists. There we go. Yeah, a lot of death metal vocalists always credit Martin Van Buren because his style is just so different than everybody else's.
And every band he goes, he's been the singer in. It's always been a great music. It's been great albums. Yeah, this man. I can't wait that I'm gonna go see him in what you call Death Fest in Maryland Death Fest, where he's gonna be with Aspis playing. So it's gonna be a great time for that. And
man. That's a great pick. Yep.
Out of Body, classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is my favorite album from that year.
All right. So for 1989. I feel was the first year that I got super into death metal, where I was really buying and collecting, and all of these great albums came out, like Bolt Thrower and Autopsy with Doom Death and everything. but I wanted to be a little bit different and picked a genre of music that I like, which is grindcore, and I went with a World Downfall from Terrorizer.
That's a good one right there, Rich. That's
Yeah,
right.
I feel like from top to bottom, this is probably one of the greatest grindcore albums of all time. This almost like a super band, and a lot of different people in the band, and it just like it really launched off the sound of grindcore, and more bands copied the sound, and a lot of great albums came out. But this one, it was a cassette that actually Tone bought this, and I dubbed it off him, and I just kept listening over and over to it,
Yeah, I
and
got
I
it
feel
on
like it's
cassette.
one of the greatest. Yeah, I feel like it's one of the greatest albums of the 80s. But that's my last pick for 89. But 89 was packed with a lot of great albums.
Yeah, I got a lot of good mentions when Barry finishes his pick.
Yeah, if anything, just to going off your Terrorizer, we'll go with the Graduation album of one of the members in there, which is a Madness.
Yeah.
I mean,
Madness,
I was torn between, and I think me and Tone spoke about this. I was torn between this and Obituary Slowly We Rot, because I definitely would have probably picked Slowly We Rot. But the reason why I picked this one is because it the sound that this album has, it's I know there's none of the other Morbid Angel albums sound like this.
No.
Vocally, musically, because everything they graduated their sound a little when they Blessed Artist Said Covenant, they just started getting more into their music. But this one just had a sound that was, and I think David Vincent, I still wondered why he didn't go back to that style of vocals on this album. His vocals sounded so fucking good on this album, and this was another staple for death metal, man, and it's a classic, man.
But think about it. You had Pestilence, Consuming Impulse. You have a Morbid Angel come out all in the same year. That was an incredible.
Yeah, 89 was crazy, man. That was that was the birth. I think that was the initial birth of that death metal
extreme.
Yeah, where the genre was just saying, yeah, now this is a genre. This is where it's at. And then that's where those bands were just coming out and giving that sound. And the Florida, it was getting big in Florida. That's where a lot of those bands pretty much came from Florida. And then we had Sweden and so on and so forth. But yeah, man, Altars of Madness is you can't go on. This one right here, just let you know, it's an original pressing that I remember picking up at Sounds, man. As you see, got the promo thing. This is an original. This is an original pressing. I got the remaster.
Barry, hold it closer so we can see the hole. There it is.
Yeah, remember all the promos had holes in them.
Yeah.
I used to work in HMV Music. They used to have a box of promos for us, and anything that we saw, they used to save the metal stuff for me because I was the only metalhead, which was great. So it was either they came in little slip discs or they came whole, and they always had holes on them as a promo.
Yep.
So, all right.
Let me throw some quick honorable mentions. You know what, Tone? Give your honorable mentions because I don't want to repeat the ones you got, and then I'll jump in.
All right, so I'm starting off here with 80'S, Piece of Time. Then
tremendous technical death metal. One of the originators of that technical style.
Sodom or Agent Orange.
Yes.
Yeah. We got Sabotage, Gutter Ballet.
Yep.
Then we had what you call Sepultura, what you call Beneath the Remains, one of my all-time favorites. And my last one was Wasp, Headless Children.
Yeah, that is a great album.
Yep.
I love that album. That's a very, very good album.
Yeah.
That album, I think that Wasp album, if you compare it to the earlier stuff, that's when you could see that they were really musically inclined. Where everything was a smooth album. It's a very smooth album. I like the other albums too. I love their older stuff, but that album was like very smooth and it just great stuff altogether. I love that stuff.
Here's a little trivia on it. They were saying that Holmes was drunk the day that they had the guitar solo for Headless Children, and who filled in for him, but that she has no credit on it is Lita Ford, who was married to him at the time.
Wow.
She did the guitar playing on that, not him, but he got credited for it.
And Yeah, and all credit to Lita Ford, man. I mean, I was never really into her music or anything like that, but she was a fucking fantastic guitarist. I mean, music,
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't have denied that. I say, yeah, if you said that to me then, I would believe it because you saw she was a fucking fantastic guitarist.
Yep.
All
right,
I'm gonna
Rich.
hit you with some quick honorable mentions, and then we'll wrap up the episode. And then on a future episode, we'll probably look at 90 to 99, the other decade. But really quick, in 1989 was Street Cleaner from Godflesh.
Yeah.
We haven't really spoken too much about industrial, but they are one of the innovators that catapulted the industrial heavy sound that was picked up in the 90s.
They were a good live band
Also,
too. Godflesh was a good
yep.
live band.
From Canada, Voivod with Nothing Face, Canadian technical, thrash progressive metal, extreme stuff, which was weird. Also, Realms of Chaos from Bolt Thrower. That came out in 89. That was a tremendous album. And also from Switzerland, No More Color from the band Coroner. Coroner is a great band that doesn't get enough respect.
Yeah, they aren't they supposed to be still? Didn't they make a comeback?
No, they still play and they're still very, very good. Also, a band that was gothic and turned hard rock, but the album that really put them out there was the Colts, Sonic Temple.
Yep.
That was another one for 1989. And we saw them on tour the following year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I mean, I could keep on going. There's a lot of great ones, but those are some of the ones that came out. Also, Tone, Dangerous Toys came out with their debut in 1989.
And there's one here that I think that you're gonna like. Wait, let me get it out before we close the show.
Uh-huh.
Where is that thing?
Yeah.
The Big
A lot of
F.
people don't talk about that album. The Big F. Yeah,
This was it, but its time. This was like when me and Richie heard this, we were like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, they were very different. They were unique. They had their own sound. It's hard to even pinpoint it. It was almost sludgy. It was hard rockish. It was metal. It was singing. It was jammy. It was everything. Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And the last one, DAD.
No sleep for the.
No. It was called No Fuel for the No Fuel Left for the Pilgrims.
Yep. From Denmark, a good hard rock band. Yeah, there were a lot of great albums. Like I said, 89 was a really big year when we really were collecting and buying, whether it was hardcore, punk, metal, and everything. But I feel 89 going to 90 is when things like just really blew up. But overall, my personal opinion is from 80 to 89 were the greatest years for metal. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I can agree.
It was a great decade, and nobody's gonna deny everything that pretty much gave birth to all those different genres were from the 80s.
That's true, man.
Yeah, I mean, from your thrash, your speed, black metal, death metal, you had your sludge, whatever other thing that they wanted to go. A lot of those 80s bands pretty much paved way to a lot of the genres we have today. So
cool. All right. So let's wrap up this episode. I know we've been going a little longer than we expected, and we still have the second part, which is the 90s. So thanks everybody for tuning in. And also I wanted to say, once Barry puts this up on YouTube, we want to hear from the people. We want you guys to leave us comments in the comment section and let us know what albums we didn't talk about, what genres from those years. And we're gonna either check them out, or maybe we might do a follow-up if you guys want it.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, we'll go from there if anything, and we'll just you put it up in the thing. I mean, if not, maybe give us some ideas of maybe something we could talk about. Exactly, put a suggestion. Maybe you'll probably put like a best vocalists of those decades or best. I mean, we've done those little things, me and Rich, but maybe we could do something a little different between us three, and we could go from there. So
yep, and we're gonna have other people joining in throughout the season. So as we're gonna spice it up and make it interesting.
yeah, we're gonna get something going. I mean, me and Rich are gonna make a little list. We're gonna start reaching out to some people in bands and certain, you know, influencers and other people, so we could try to make things a little bit more interesting. We haven't figured it out yet, so you know, when you get that email or that call from us, let us know if you can do it, and we'll try to set up a schedule and we'll hook that up. You know, Tone's in the mix now, so you know, we'll get Tone up in there, and Tone could just go. He could ask some questions too, and I'm sure it'd be great, man. Just all three of us here, just, you know, asking away and making things relevant for everybody. But
Cool.
that's pretty much that, guys. You guys have anything else before we go?
No, just want
No,
to
that's
say.
it, man.
Okay. All right, guys. But again, I want to thank everybody who.
Hold on a second. I think Tone was gonna say something.
You want to say
Go
something?
ahead.
No, I said what you call was a great episode we did, and what you call just thank you. That's
Yeah.
it.
All right. Cool. Yeah.
right,
Thanks for joining us, Tone. And I guess we'll see all the viewers and everyone on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, guys. Yeah, another thing, just don't forget, guys, if you do like the stuff we're doing, you know, like and subscribe, share, comment. All those things help us out. I mean, you know, just not that, you know, we're all about trying to make money on YouTube or anything like that. It's just, you know, we want to see that our stuff just keeps getting out to the masses, which eventually, you know, is starting to get there slowly but surely. You know, we're getting a nice little audience around the world, which is cool. Made some new friends. The YouTube community we have is awesome. And let's just keep this thing going. All right. And again, let's congratulate Tone for being a part of this That Goat Metal Show. He's an official That Goat Metal Show member, and you might see some solo episodes with him eventually. We'll hook that shit up. All right. So all right, that's it, guys. Thanks a lot for joining us, and be sure to check out the next episode we're going to be doing for the 90s. We're going to be doing our 90s pick soon. All right. Take care, guys. It's Barry, That Goat Metal Show. Stay brutal.